All right, everybody, it is Friday, episode 9 coming at you, number 9.
Number 9, the 10 Days to Christmas podcast.
Number 9, 10 Days to Christmas, Friday. Man, I'm loving Fridays.
I'm loving Fridays too, man.
Man,
Bless your heart, brother. Bless your heart.
Bless your heart, man. Fridays are great.
That's great.
We need to keep this up. We're not going to be able to do this next week. Next week, we've got the holiday special for Christmas on what we're going to do
That's
Wednesday.
Right. You got TGIF, and the next week you got TGIC.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank God it's Christmas.
Thank God it's Christmas. Wednesday it is. I think that's going to be what it's about.
Sounds
I
good to
mean,
me.
I'm loving the new jams.
Me too, man.
I think we should. I know that like sometimes you have these shows that you like automatically know. Like The Office had that song that was right at the very beginning, and you knew that it was coming on. And you got like Friends, but I mean, I'm kind of digging the mix up.
I like the holiday vibe stuff, man. It's really cool. You know, just digging around trying to find some old kind of, trying to stay away from like the Muzak, like the Best Buy commercials and whatever, but finding some cool.
Feel
stuff.
like you're Christmas shopping already,
exactly.
In an elevator, hanging out.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about it. We were in the middle of driving somewhere, and I was like, Christmas music is upon us, and I'm excited about it. I mean, I love it. Like, I mean, I dig the Mariah Carey thing and all that stuff. I mean, you got to listen to her. No way you're getting away from her.
Arguably, probably maybe I would say the most famous Christmas record.
It is.
I mean, it's
without
got to
a
be
doubt.
up there. Yeah.
Without a doubt. But at the same time, we're sitting here talking about the crooners of Christmas.
Oh, you're talking about the old school crooners.
Like, I'm talking like
the Rat Pack. That kind of stuff.
Dude.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like guys that you just are in a jazz club hanging out. Like, who is that for you?
Oh, I mean, well, you got to throw Bing in there.
Dude, Bing is my guy.
His version of White Christmas.
Yeah.
Like,
dude.
when you hear that song, you're like, Christmas is here. It's coming.
I'm dreaming.
And he's just got such a silky, sultry voice. I mean, so good. And they actually did, I think, a movie or a musical that he was in called White Christmas that kind of toured all around.
Was it a cartoon?
I don't think so. I don't think he did. Maybe. I mean, he did everything. He was huge. Who knows?
I mean, Bing is so there's Bing. There's the other Dean Martin was the other guy.
And Dean Martin was like the face of, Vegas, the Rat Pack with Sammy Davis Jr. and Sinatra and those guys. But, man, that guy could sing his butt off.
I mean, there's a lot of different guys that are out there. Like, I was trying to think, you put those guys in, and then you've got, like, does Michael Bublé fit into that whole equation?
Yeah. I mean, he's like
he's a newer crooner?
Yeah. He's like the modern-day crooner for us. But then you got Harry Connick Jr. I mean, you got a few other guys that can really
Elvis
sing.
could do it.
Elvis could sing.
I mean, I'm not saying can sing, but I'm talking about like that just melty voice that just is just like.
Let me tell you, like
on a record.
Underrated for me.
Okay.
Is the version of The Most Wonderful Time of the Year by Andy Williams.
Yeah, dude.
That guy. I don't know what else he did. If he did some other, stuff back in the day or whatever, maybe he was a pop singer. I don't know.
Yeah.
But when that song starts playing, that for me, that is the Christmas song. I mean, it's kind of upbeat. It's really cool. He's got a fabulous voice. But I would throw. I mean, Michael Bublé, all the stuff he's done. I mean, dude, the guy just is amazing.
Well, the cool thing about with Bing is for us in the Easley family, my married into in-laws. It didn't matter. Like, the first time I really got into Bing, like, I mean, I know Bing from Christmas and all the songs and everything else, but we would literally, like, my father-in-law, we'd get in his car and he had a CD, and we listened to Bing every hunting trip. It didn't matter if it was Christmas. It could be January. But when we get into the truck, we listened to the Bing album all the way into the woods and all the way out. That's just what we do.
Man, that's cool.
And I mean, that is just like a tradition that I will always hold dear because I think it's hilarious. I mean, it's awesome. I mean,
there's so many cool, like, look, I don't care what anybody says. Last Christmas by George Michael. That's a classic. That's a great song.
Without a doubt.
Love that song.
Without a doubt.
Love the Live Aid version of, Do They Know It's Christmas? I mean, there's so many really cool songs when you go back and look. But when you think about, you've kind of got your classical playlist, your classic playlist, right?
Yeah.
Then you've got your sort of modern day list over here, but there's so many good ones and so many different versions of the same song. I mean, let's be honest, they're all the same songs.
They
it's
are
all good stuff.
Until I mean, there's a guy, David. Yeah, it's Crowder. It's Crowder here in Atlanta. He put out
Crowder's awesome.
an album last year called Milk and Cookies.
Yes.
And there's like a new song called The Elf Song, and it's like, this is the Elf Song. And I'm like, man, it's a jam. And I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Good God Almighty by him is probably my favorite Christian
Oh, without a
song,
doubt.
like ever.
Without a doubt. Who does the Minikaliki Maka in the who is that?
Vacation. I don't know. Hawaii's that is an absolutely terrific song.
That's the island greeting that we'll send to you.
Yes.
Yeah, I was but I just remembered that because I've watched that movie now twice already.
You've watched it twice already.
It's December 15th.
Crazy.
I've watched it twice. My mother-in-law came in town and she's like, I want to watch it. I'm like, let's go. And then I've watched it again.
We watched the traditional movies like right 23rd, 24th, 25th, right? So right now we're kind of stocking up on the newer Christmas movies.
Okay.
You know, the kind of some interesting ones that are out there, some different takes. I watched the other night, due to, you telling me to check it out.
Oh, yes. Say it.
ViolentNight.
I don't even know. Who's that guy? Is he a UFC fighter?
No, he is the guy that played the sheriff in Stranger Things.
That's what it was.
Yeah, he's a pretty good actor. He's been in a bunch of different stuff or whatever. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. But
I don't care. If you have not seen that movie, it is probably now my
It's like Santa Claus
newest
meets Die Hard meets like the
newest
most ridiculous thing you've ever seen.
movie. Did it take on like the Norwegian piece of Santa? Is that what it was?
I think so. Like Santa Claus in the movie was like a former Viking. Like a former, warrior amongst the Vikings. And then he just shifts his life and becomes Santa Claus. But in the meantime, when he's out on his sleigh and he lands on this mansion, he doesn't realize this mansion's being taken over by these mercenaries, and he kind of battles his way out of the situation. It's the most ridiculous.
It really is. It's ridiculous. But I mean, when you want to get away from the sappiness of the Christmas, it's like every Christmas movie is this Lifetime movie that my wife watches all the time.
It's not a Hallmark movie.
It is not a Hallmark movie by any stretch of the imagination. But my kids were like, that is awesome. Like, we watched it together. It was,
dude.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It was good.
My wife and my daughter, who were home with me at the time, did not love it, but I did. So that's it was my movie.
The new Eddie Murphy movie was out, and is it on Netflix?
Candy Cane Lane. I believe it's on Prime Video.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I watched it. I was pretty disappointed, bro.
Yeah, I think it starts off well.
No, of course.
It's kind of cool, he's a guy. He's battling out with his neighbor for the best decorated yard, and then he loses his job.
Where did that stop? Like, I mean, I remember when you used to decorate your house and, like, you would try to keep up with the Joneses, and it was like a thing. But, I mean, like, even in my neighborhood now, I live in a cul-de-sac, and I am the only house lit up.
Oh, no, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. So when did that stop? I loved the fact that and it's a whole special for that whole entire street.
I don't know, but I eyeball the neighbors. I'll drive around, check out what the neighbors are doing. Like, oh, okay, rookie.
Yeah.
And then I'll throw up my joy sign. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, dude.
I put that joy sign up. My wife, a few years back, picked up the letters J-O-Y.
They're the largest letters
They're
ever.
Massive. And
you know why I know them? Because we moved them.
Correct.
Yeah, I remember.
Picked them up for free.
Yep.
There was no lights.
She got those for free?
Got them for free. Everything was broken. She kind of reassembled the whole thing, put lights in it, and I had the most obnoxious joy sign in my front yard.
It's awesome.
Literally, we live kind of on the corner. So as you pull in, you got to see it.
You don't, yeah.
And that alone puts us like in the top 10 in the neighborhood every year.
That's awesome. Yep. The new guys came to town Christmas. They're throwing it up. I love it.
The gauntlet has been thrown down.
Yeah, but Candy Cane Lane, I don't understand what happened there, but it was an interesting. Like, I just don't know. It was just weird.
Well, when you start throwing in magic and mysticism and kind of weirdness and whatever, and it can only go so far, and there's got to be kind of some comedic value to it.
Yeah,
I think they were trying to be funny. It just wasn't funny.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, so if you watch it,
I give that like 3 stars.
You got to watch every Christmas movie, I think, at least once, and just see what your thoughts are. But that's the deal.
What about some other ones?
So the other two that I've got in my mind that we kind of were talking about a little bit. They're musicals, basically. I mean, they're all about music. My wife's number one favorite is the Mistletones. Do you remember the show Sister Sister? There's two, Tamara and Tyra, Tia and Tamara. Anyway, it was these two. It was a special that was on like on a Friday night or something. These two twin sisters, and one of them is in the movie, and she can sing flat out, freaking sing, and it's all about just going. You got to go see it. I mean, it's Mistletones, and it's about this group of girl singers that's in this group, and this girl's mom created this Mistletones singing group.
Is this on like Netflix or?
I'm sure.
Okay.
You
I'll
just
check
type it up and find it. But the job is that they're trying to compete. It's like a competitive deal for trying to become the town's choir.
So it's like a Christmassy Pitch Perfect kind of thing.
Exactly right. That is exactly what it is.
That sounds good.
And Jessica watches it every single year.
I love those old musicals and stuff.
Jessica, she watches it every single year. But anyway, but yeah, so that's that one. And then I say the other one that I watched just recently, which Apple TV doesn't do a bad thing ever, but I think it was out like 2 years ago, was with Will Ferrell. He did that
which
movie,
I love.
Spirited.
Yeah, that's Ryan Reynolds is in that.
Yeah. So, and it's 100%. It is a music. I mean, 100%.
I think I've seen it. I just can't quite remember. I need to go back and see it again.
And it's all about the Charles Dickens and like the whole entire like just do good, and like you're trying to.
I think it's like loosely based on the Christmas Carol.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Exactly 100%. And it was. I've watched it twice now too. It's that good.
You got a problem. I'm the one apparently that rewatches movies all the time, but yet Matt does it all the time as well.
Okay, that's fine. You're at like 15, 17 a year.
I've already watched Die Hard twice this year.
Yeah.
So because it is a Christmas movie. Period.
It really is.
That's right.
Back in the movie theater.
Kara introduced me to a movie that I had not seen before, about a family kind of coming home for Christmas, called The Family Stone.
Yep.
And I'd never seen this movie before. Dude, it's got so many. It's got Craig T. Nelson's in it. It's got Luke Wilson. I mean, it's Jennifer Jessica Parker's. I mean, there's a lot of star power in this movie, but it is such a good story. They come home and all the kids are very much different. It's about a family that had a lot of different kids. They're kind of a bohemian family, real loose and all free love and all this. And they all come together for Christmas. But the undertone of the movie is the mom has cancer. The mom is dying. And they all kind of get together, and towards the very end of it, she passes on, and then the family kind of gathers in, and celebrates her at the very. I mean, it's just a beautiful movie. It's a really good story. It's funny. It's just a really, really good one. So, highly recommend that. I think that one's going to be on the list every year for me. Really
every year,
really, really good movie.
Yeah, but Christmas Vacation was 100%. It's always going to be there.
Well,
I'll probably watch it 4 or 5 times.
Christmas Vacation. Yes. It's a Wonderful Life. Yes. I've already watched A Christmas Carol twice. Not my favorite version of that is the one with George C. Scott.
Okay.
Well, he's kind of the older guy. He's in England, plays a real crotchety, Scrooge. I just love that one. It's my favorite.
Yeah, there's a little
twist. There's like 20 versions of that out now.
But Spirited, you got to watch. If you like A Christmas Carol, you'll love that.
I love Scrooge too, with Bill Murray.
Well,
I mean, it's totally cheesy 80s movie, but I love that one too.
It actually makes a cameo in the movie Spirited.
He does? Okay.
Not Bill Murray, but the whole entire concept of that movie, it does. It shows up, so you definitely have to watch it. Yep. But what other things? So we've watched movies. We've done. What other things have you eaten so far? Because, I mean, the Bless the Bellies portion last week, that whole segment, I mean,
that was mired in disappointment.
The Christmas cakes, I hear.
Yes. Have landed.
They've landed, but they've also flown off the shelves.
Yes.
And apparently all the ones that they have created and made and boxed and shipped out, they're the last of them. Like, the ones that are out, it's like going to be toilet paper at COVID. Like, it's gone. Like, they're not making any more. They're already out. So you better go stock up.
So I got 3 boxes.
Okay.
I think 3 live boxes at the house right now, going quickly. Like you said, flying off the shelves. Very good. But they're gotten smaller.
Tiny.
It's like the little Debbie is now the micro Debbie.
Micro Debbie.
They're like this big, about that wide. You basically just pop one in. But they're amazing, and I love them. And I'm probably going to go try to find 5 more boxes tonight.
Yeah, I feel bad because Jessica, if that's how small they are, Jessica made made the dip. She made the dip.
Was it amazing?
Oh my dude, was it not only amazing?
Is there any left?
Oh, there's some left.
Okay,
but to like dip pretzels in. Mm-hmm. Do you know what else that little joker put out to dip in there? Marshmallows.
Oh, dude.
The big jumbo marshmallows. Just dip it in there.
I would be all over that. Oh man,
It was awesome. It was really, really, really good.
I may have to swing by the house. And check
Yeah,
that
there were
out.
all kind of dips and stuff that have been made up, but I mean the Christmas cake has made the debut and it is back and it is.
But I mean, I was asking my wife last night. I'm like, when does Christmas cookies start? I mean, like, we're 10 days to Christmas. I'm like, I haven't seen any Christmas cookies being baked around the house. But what's going on here?
Maybe you need to bake them.
Look, are we on strike? What do I need to do to get you off strike?
Get
to
you a
start
little bit
making
of
some
cookie.
cookies because I'm ready.
Get some cookies.
Yeah.
So that's your jam. There's the cookies.
Yeah, dude. I'm a straight up chocolate chip cookie dude. I love my ginger cookies. I just
Sugar cookies with like the frosting stuff on it. No,
not so much.
Really?
Not so much. No, I mean they're fine, but you got to have chocolate in it. I just don't want it. That's the way it goes.
Why wouldn't like the Girl Scouts of America come out with a Christmas cookie? Just you can freeze those jokers.
Like people wouldn't buy them,
I know.
right? I mean, people would line up. You know, it'd be like opening up an In-N-Out burger. People would be lined up all over the drive.
I mean, I guess a Thin Mint could be a Christmas cookie. I mean,
it could be.
maybe.
But I mean, they never make it to Christmas.
They don't make it to my car after I leave the grocery store from
No,
the
I'll
little
eat
girl.
a whole sleeve. It's terrible.
It's
Yeah.
going to be gone. But yeah, so we had a ton of new stuff for food and at church on Wednesday night. We had a pretty cool Christmas special on Wednesday night, and that's where the Christmas cake made the debut. We were blessing the bellies of the people at the church. Which kind of brings into a segment of the whole church in of itself. I mean,
I know you've got some stuff that's kind of on your heart, right? Longtime member of I would say probably the most iconic church in Cobb County. Of course, we're talking about Roswell Street. There's been some changes that are going on. I know you got some stuff that you'd like to discuss, and I'll turn it over to you and let you kind of dive into that. And it's good stuff.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, we had our podcast on Friday, and everything was awesome. We went through, and I get home, and I'm preparing. On Wednesday night, we had our Christmas night of worship. We bring all of our families and stuff in. We had kids, students, family members, friends, and then we just had people from the church who want to show up. And our congregation has kind of dwindled a little bit in the past. We had, that congregation inside the worship center can seat 3,000 people. I mean,
it's a huge
it used to
church.
be. I mean, and it used to be a place that people would come for Cobb County graduations and baccalaureates and weddings and all kinds of stuff. And since then, it was like the only thing going on. I mean, it was the only thing in town. You had a few other churches around the area, but now you've got like all these neighborhood churches that have popped up, and it is what it is. I mean, it's great. I mean, I love that the church has gone out, and it's awesome.
It's the natural evolution of a county like Cobb that 20 years ago, from 30 years ago, was finding its footing, and now it's there.
Yeah. So we had about 75 to 80 people that were there and downstairs in our Wednesday night in our student kids building. So it was awesome. It was a great time just to kind of like, I hadn't really felt like the Christmas season yet. And so it was kind of like the kickoff. You know what I mean?
I did see the film that you put together as a result of this program, and you seem to be pretty actively involved in everything.
Yeah, it was pretty actively involved for sure.
Speaking of Crooner.
Yeah. Well, it was Wednesday night. We got about 75, like I said, 75 to 80 folks that were there. That was just indicative of, college careers, kids, students, and their families and friends. Well, Friday when we did our podcast last week, I get home and it's like late night, and I never like on Facebook really that late. And I was on there, and the Marriott Daily Journal comes up and puts out this article, which we knew the article was coming. I mean, our transitional pastor who's there and our executive pastor who's there, they had told us that they had done an interview for it. And the Marriott Daily Journal posted, and this is the quote. It says, we tore down our chapel. The chapel's been there forever. Okay. I mean, there's been weddings, there have been funerals, there have been school programs. We used to have a Christian school in this building, so people scholarly learned, Sunday school learned, accepted Christ in this building. I mean, there's a lot of great things,
dedications, baptisms
have happened in this building. So the thing that came up, it said it is a loss. Roswell Street Baptist Church Chapel razed, RAZED. I had to look it up. I'm 41 years old.
No idea what that means.
I had to look it up. So razed, to completely demolish, tear down to the ground, razed. So I give credit to Marriott Daily Journal for coming up with such vocabulary. It was awesome. It was great. So that's what the title of the of the article was. And so I was reading further, and this is just the first sentence. It says, the chapel of Roswell Street Baptist Church has come down, marking the end of an 80-year era and the start of a new chapter for the downsized congregation. I like, it starts a new chapter, period. Let's just be, who needs enemies when you have the Marietta Daily Journal, as far as I'm concerned, you know? I mean, we, the church, trying to make ourselves available to the community and share the love of Jesus throughout the community of Marietta. Again, Marietta, there's not a ton of people that live around 5 miles of our church. Mm-hmm. People have to commute to come into the church. Mm-hmm. I live 20-something miles from the church, and I still go there every Sunday and every Wednesday. That's what people used to do. I mean, we have guys that come all the way from I think there was a guy that was mentioned in the article from Blairsville, Georgia. I mean, he would come down every once in a while and hang out at the church. But anyway, so I was just like, that first sentence kind of got me. Like, we know that the church has been downsized. We get it from a congregation perspective, like the number of people. But the same God is still there. Right. You know, the building is just a building. And that chapel, yes, I mean, where it has been a part of the skyline of Marietta, I mean, we are now in this place of, we are not going, and Carrick Martin is one of our dear friends from Kennesaw State. He is a great guy. He's going to lead our deacons next year.
Very interesting sense of humor.
Yeah, but I mean,
but he is terrific.
But he can be extremely serious when needed.
Oh yeah,
and he was called out on that and said, you know, and I, again, this was mentioned on Sunday in the pulpit, that doing ministry as a church is not a loss. And what Carrick said, and it was a quote of, "We are not going to spend money on maintenance. We're going to spend money on ministry." And that's just the way we need to do it. And so to have the opportunity to be able to be a ministry for the community, as the church should be, why should we be pumping a ton of money into a building that was going to take millions of dollars to get up and running and have deferred maintenance on? It made no sense.
Right.
So, I mean, that's just, it really... It hit me the wrong way. And again, I'm very active and I lead our students at the church. And when you're talking about raising a building, we're trying to raise students in Christ. And so I
think, you know, me being a lifelong, you know, Cobb County native, you know, the chapel was certainly part of the skyline of Marietta. Yeah. I mean, there was no way you could go into the square and not know about Roswell Street Baptist Church. And bringing that chapel down is certainly, you know, not going to diminish, you know, again, the message, the people, the vision, and just so many wonderful folks that have come through that church.
Right.
It's just, again, it's the natural evolution of that type of community church that you mentioned before.
Yeah.
People don't want to drive 20 to 30 miles because they do that. Back in the day, it was no big deal because there was no traffic to deal with. People already sit in cars every day for an hour, hour and a half. They don't want to make that trek across on a Sunday. That's just natural evolution. There's a lot of other churches that have popped up, like you mentioned, that I think are faith-based, that people get blessings from, that go to.
Of course.
You know, and again, this is, to me, it's just the natural, it's kind of natural selection. It's just what the church needed to do. The new green spaces that are going to come in, they're going to have more money to again, do what's important, minister to the people. So I felt the article in some areas with Joe speaking and Carrick and whatever else, where they were trying to put a very positive spin on it, was a little bit unnecessary and harsh, you know, for what needed to happen.
Right.
You know, you don't want to spend millions of dollars to make a chapel come up to code. Again, that's not going to be used.
Right.
Let's take that money. Let's make the campus a little bit nicer for everybody. And
it was a great opportunity for the narrative to be that we are, and sometimes you have to tear down to build back up.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so it could have been a great narrative for that, but we want to sit here and want to talk about how 80 years this thing has been here. It is a building. It is brick and it is mortar. My mother and my father were married in that chapel. I used to do Wednesday night programming in that chapel as long as I can remember. And it has literally sat there vacant, not doing anything for years. And for the narrative to be that it is a loss, not just the building loss, but now we're talking about how we hope that our people that have gone forward before us, that we've learned from our, you know,
What are you supposed to learn? That quote was just very weird.
Yeah,
to me.
it made no sense to me.
And I think that was from Nelson Price.
Yeah.
It's like, well, learn
And
what?
a legend of his time.
Churches change.
Of course they
evolve.
do. Of course they do. And so, anyway, it was one of those things that I didn't want to harp too much on it, but I mean, it's just been on my heart about it. I mean, it's like, I am a big, huge part of that. Church has been a part of my life. And the people that want to sit here and gripe and complain about all of it, they don't go to the church anymore.
Right.
Like, so
they're not really a part of it.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? Why don't we just continue just to do ministry the way we're doing it? And if you wanted to have a say-so in what was going on, you more than welcome to have the conversation. Come to the church. Be a part of it.
Right.
And so my whole thing is, people have asked me all the time, like, why are you still at Rouse Street? And it's pretty simple. As long as the gospel's still being preached, and as long as my children and my family and my parents and my whole family is being loved on, and we're being ministered to, why would I go anywhere else? I could go to a lot of other churches that are closer to my house.
Of course.
It's just that this church has been, of all the things that were mentioned in this article, the history and the thing, that's the house that built me, when you look at it.
Everybody has a different vehicle.
Of course.
Right? I mean,
of course.
whether, which denomination you're in, which faith you believe in, the religion that you follow, everybody has their vehicle. For you and your family, I've seen it firsthand, Roswell Street's that vehicle.
Yeah.
Period. And it's a beautiful, wonderful place with a lot of great people. And Matt coached my son in basketball there, so it'll always be special to me. And I, occasionally, maybe I have a key to the gym and I get to go shoot hoops every once in a while. I mean, maybe.
But those are the things. I mean, those are the things that we're looking at as far as the ministries of the church. We're not going anywhere. I mean, that was the one thing we're getting bad press isn't terrible press. I mean, there's no bad press.
Yeah, there's no such thing as bad press.
Yeah, we're being talked about, but at the same time, we don't want it to be about a building. We want it to be about the ministry of the church and what we're doing for families and pointing people to Jesus. I mean, that's the whole point of the church.
I feel like with people like Dan and Carrick and Joe and you and all the others, the future's very bright.
Yes, without a doubt.
A change is occurring. Again, it's a building. It's
exactly
not,
right.
It is not the people. It is not the vision. It's not the faith.
Yep.
So I feel for you. I know I've known you for 25 years, and it's been the most important thing in your life other than your family, and probably our little business together and a few other things.
Yeah.
But, your faith is very important to you. And it's a big deal. And that chapel, like you said, is important. It's housed a lot of memories. I think that's where people are kind of holding on to that. Bless their hearts. It's a great time. But let's be happy about what we do have and where we're going.
Right. It was a vehicle for the time. We are where we are now, and Roswell Street is still there. We're still doing the ministries we're doing them in. We are doing them in buildings that are more up to code, and we have more finances to be able to go out to. No one said, "Hey, bring them all to me." We got to go out. I mean, it's just let's go out to the community, and so that's the hope, is that we're going to do that. And
I'm just upset that you weren't there when my mother went to the Christmas,
I'm sorry.
choir part of it.
They did a Christmas concert, and it's always amazing. I had other things that I had to prepare for Wednesday night. We had a lot of things we had to get done.
My mother is a very long-time Cobb County resident.
But she's the prime example of the people that the reason why the church is.
It's not her first time going. She's been several times.
And she came.
And my stepfather went a few times.
Right.
And, they would go to the Methodist church there on Whitlock. And they'd go see their program too, because they're another really, really big church.
Yeah.
Right there on the square. But their favorite was always at Roswell Street. So I mean, it's just it's a special church to the community, to the Adventists, to the Methodists, to the Presbyterians. It's still a very special place
To the people.
Yeah, to the people.
I mean, there was something I just read literally before this.
I mean, most everybody's kids have played basketball there.
Yeah.
I mean, been part of that upward or youth program that they had, because it was the best one in town. I mean, it really was.
Well, anyway, so that's kind of what's on my heart. I mean, as far as the congregation and all the things, if you're in the Cobb County area and you don't have a church, come to Roswell Street.
Come on by.
I mean, it is, see what we're doing, see what's going on. We've got awesome ministries to be able to just love on. And I tell people a lot, like, if you really want to go to another church in the area that's bigger, got more people, you can get lost in all of that. I mean,
I used to like when you guys were kind of recognizing the change in the way people like to worship. And you had kind of the option for the more traditional service, and then you also had an option for a more contemporary service.
Yeah.
And I think that's terrific, because music and singing is really, it's mentioned in the Bible many times, a way of worshiping. But some people just like to hear the word.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. I mean, you guys have always adjusted to the times. This is just an adjustment.
It is. I mean, I think that it's Jesus will be the same today, yesterday, and forever. But as far as the way that we go about, praising and worshiping, it has to. I mean, there are changes in the area. I mean, that's just the way it happens.
He is indeed the rock.
That is exactly right. So, come on by. That's it. We're still prayerfully figuring out what that looks like. But as far as saying it is a loss and we're raising the buildings the church is still around. Jesus is still at the center.
I wonder what my mother would think about that article, as she was an editor of the Married Daily Journal many years ago. Anyway, we'll get her opinion.
Awesome. I would love to get her opinion on it. But yeah, so we're not gonna pay for maintenance. We're gonna use the finances and be good stewards of the monies that we have for ministry, and that's just the end of the day.
Excellent segue into our next segment.
What is
finances.
that? Finances.
Well, I want to talk about gift giving. Right?
Okay.
So, how are you doing so far on your Christmas gifts? Are you a procrastinator? Right?
Yes.
Or are you a proactivator?
I am not a proactivator. You know me better than that. I am a procrastinator through and through. I believe. So I'm just going to be honest.
Are you going to be at Target in the mall a lot over the next few days?
I do not go to Target, and I do not go to the mall at all. That does not happen.
How do you pull it off?
I mean, it's Prime.
It's Prime.
Yeah. I mean, I'm Santa. I mean, I make stuff happen.
You definitely are.
But yeah, so that's just the deal. I mean, I don't go to the store. I go to the stores for a couple of things, but like the Avenue stores. I mean, those are like the one in and out.
I have to go to the mall every year.
Why?
Because my wife likes these certain lotions from the Bath and Body Works.
Yes.
And the mall is the only spot to get. They have the most selection. So you got to go there. There's
Bath and Body Works is not on Amazon yet.
They are, but again, it's very limited on Amazon, and they mark the price up like crazy. It's way expensive. I've learned the lesson the hard way.
I think you like smelling all the different smells.
No, I kind of do. Yeah. It's really what it is. It's time to spend with my daughter. Kellen and I always go make that little trip together. So as much as I hate the mall, I hate the mall.
Well, that's a horse of a different color.
Yes, it is, mate. I just really enjoy that one day where we go and get ourselves a cookie at the cookie company.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's kind of cool.
Okay, so it's an experience.
So you're I would argue I'm kind of in between.
Okay.
But my problem is that, like my son, for example, Jacob is a man of many words, as you well know. I'll ask him, like, son, what do you want for Christmas this year? And he'll fire me back a text message. Headphones, keyboard. Okay, that's cool. There's 800,000 types of headphones and arguably 2 million types of keyboards. What do you want specifically?
Okay.
And then typically it'll be another 24, 48, 72 hours before he'll respond to that. So, it's just kind of learning the idiosyncrasies of how to shop for your family. But I'm just about done already. And I got 10 days. I'm
really?
Almost done. Yeah. Almost across the finish line.
Well, to be honest with you, I probably just need to text my wife and ask her if we're almost done. Because I don't do all the shopping.
Speaking of Prime, so she gave me an idea for a gift to give to Santa.
Yeah.
Well, clickety click, went on Prime, hit the button at 4:00 in the afternoon. What I didn't realize was it was being delivered that same day. Was delivered at 11 o'clock at night at the house. My wife wakes up the next day. She takes the dog out. Oh, Merry Christmas. The gift's sitting right there.
No way.
And it's not wrapped or anything. It's just right in the box. It's the item. And I'm like, thanks, Prime. You
way.
Kind of screwed me up by being too good. Yeah.
No
so it's kind of funny.
Way.
Yeah. So anyway, it's all good.
I mean, I love how the Prime they do. I mean, people I love how my boxes come pre-wrapped, in they just have their Prime and their stuff. They're just sitting there in the boxes. But yeah, I'm definitely a procrastinator. This is the way it is. I've got a few things that I would go, but I will never step foot in the mall ever. I just don't think there's a need to do that anymore. And I'm sorry, Simon, and I apologize for what's going on over there.
Simon's going to be okay.
Isn't it Simon's Mall, whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's just, I don't think that's some place that I just deserve to go and treat myself to all of that craziness. I remember going to the food court and all this stuff, but if you're going to go, it's an experience, I understand.
Yeah. So, it's the food
totally
court.
Get it.
It's maybe I'll stop at the food court and go to Euro
Totally
Wraps.
Get it.
Go to Euro Wraps.
Do they wrap the presents for you?
No.
They don't.
No.
You have to wrap them.
Yes.
But
that's in a bag. I mean, they're creams. Put them in the bag, a little paper.
We did talk about this last week. Are you the rapper, or you said you pay for the rap, or you do the bags if you have to?
I sort of am a rapper.
Well, speaking of the rapping, do we quit our day jobs? What kind of feedback did we get? If you haven't gone and listened all the way through, come on, man. Those music that we've started these things off with, it was just it was a vibe. You know, it was for us. I
was just motivated to write us a little.
I mean, I thought it was well done. I thought it was great.
We talk about Jesus in our lives, and some verses kind of just came to me off the top of the dome, as they say. And man, what do people think about our ability to rap? I would argue that Matt sounds pretty smooth on the mic.
Come on.
I think I sound like just some
homeless
guy that
we sound like a 40-year-old and a 50-year-old just being goobers.
Yeah, with absolutely no ability whatsoever.
Whatever. We've got an album coming out next year, I'm sure. Let's just see.
But do we have another career path? I think we might.
I mean, it's possible.
Look, I want feedback on a couple things. I want to know if you're a proactive or a procrastinator as far as your Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
I want to know what you guys thought about the rap that we did last week.
Let's go.
I just want to hear from you guys. I want to hear about your favorite Christmas song. I love getting that kind of feedback. I mean, I know, some of our regular listeners kind of opined and said, the rap was really cool. Don't quit your day jobs. Yeah. Got it. Understood. I'll take that. But I'm glad they thought it was cool.
No, I mean, it's hilarious. Yeah, New Era update. We have the old school last year Christmas holiday version. You got the holly and the berries.
That's right, and you got the snow globe.
I got the snow globe.
The snow globe is awesome. I
snow
love
globe.
It. I don't know if you guys can even see this, but there's a green kind of holly with the little berries in the middle.
Love it.
I love this hat. This is probably one of my favorite New Era hats. And by the way, if we haven't gotten the message out just yet, New Era, we love you. I did a count. I did a hat count.
You're the goat. I did text you this. You are the New Era hat goat. On the fitteds.
I have 51 New Era hats. Well, let me update. I have 52 as of now.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I got one more. I'm sure, believe it or not, I have a few on my Christmas list.
Oh, really?
So I'll probably be up to 55 by Christmas Day.
I've got a few on my list as well.
Yeah.
But I'm probably sitting at about 3/4 of yours. I mean, that's where I'm at. So.
I mean, that's still very strong.
I mean,
we're committed. We are all the way committed, New Era. So if you want to get committed, boom, bless your heart, boys,
next week we will have the new Dawned on You holiday hat that we've decided to get this year, which I love. I love these; they're amazing.
But, yes, and we're going to do the next podcast, as Matt mentioned, will be next Wednesday.
We
have some family plans and so forth, some out of town activities at the end of next week.
I'm sure everybody else does as well.
Yep.
And I can't imagine, like, as you're sitting there thinking about all the Christmas movies and you're listening to little Bing around the fire and watching your Christmas Vacation, flip on the old YouTube and bring up the Bless Your Heart Boys and let us be a part of your Christmas traditions this year.
That's right.
We'd love to have you.
That's right.
And while you're at it, grab a little bit of merch. They'll be available right after Christmas as well. I don't see why not.
If it's like I can't get it by Christmas, hey,
guess
Happy
what?
New Year.
January's upon us.
That's right.
And if February, I cannot think of another way to show your loved one that you love them on Valentine's Day than with some merchandise, is all I'm saying.
I'm thinking Matt in a Cupid outfit for Valentine's Day, as long as some merch for the loved ones. I love it. Good idea.
I may wear a Christmas onesie next Wednesday.
Oh, I love it.
I just say, why not?
I'm thinking maybe a couple Grinch outfits.
Oh,
like that.
Come on.
We'll figure it out.
I love it. Check out the merch store. Check out everything. Link to our YouTube channel below, Facebook page, Instagram bio. Like, subscribe, follow, do all those fun things.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for being a part of it. Thanks for everybody that's commented.
Can't do it without you.
Great. It's just fantastic. Those that have been loyal listeners and watchers, we really appreciate it. It's been awesome.
Here to grow. We got one more for the 2023 season, and then we're right back out in 2024.
Here we go, 2024.
It's going to be awesome.
We'll have episode 10 out next week. 10 episodes in for the year. Boom, we're done. 2023. See ya.
Love it, man. Love it.
All right.
Well, thank you guys for today. Friday. Happy Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. Until next time, bless your heart, boys. Bless your heart.
Take care, Milltown.